Hello, welcome to the Land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel. Today's video is going to be about my favorite homeschool book set resources. Okay, we all love a good book set. Somebody's already curated a collection for you. I did a previous video where I did my absolute all-time favorite books, like series or collection of books. But it's for a little bit of the higher, maybe a little higher, middle to like high elementary, middle, high school kind of level. I will link that one in the description box. Today I'm going to focus on book sets for mid to early elementary. So you guys know that the jumping off point for our homeschool is the Robinson curriculum, and especially their book list. So something I see, and I just saw this come up in the Facebook group today, was reading comprehension issues. This comes up a lot. Reading comprehension and an awareness of where our kids are is something we really need to keep an eye on if we want them to be getting the most out of their education. And I will say that the Robinson curriculum, like right at the very beginning books, they jump up to being, I think they were pretty challenging for my middle son is the one that I started like all the way from the beginning with that book list. And I would honestly say he wasn't really ready to read those RC books on his own until, honestly, probably until late second or maybe early third grade. So that leaves all of, kindergarten, first grade, and second grade that I was either having to read books to him off the RC list, because, you're at the same time, you're teaching them to read, right? And that is not really the point of the RC method. The RC method is it's supposed to be an independent curriculum. So they should be able to read those books independently. And they do have a focus on vocabulary, as in every book comes with a vocabulary list specific to that book. So I just never really abided by the vocabulary program for them, at least not like this in the early stages. And I can talk about, I've talked about that before, but I've chosen to focus on spelling instead of vocabulary kind of as its own independent subject, and going over vocabulary words in the McGuffey readers. So I do diverge from the RC method in these early, like pretty much in the elementary school years and even into middle school, but they're like, I'm moving in that RC direction. But, and that's why if you've been watching my channel lately, you've seen me testing out my unofficial RC notebooks with my 3rd and 7th grader. So all that said, I feel like I was kind of just thinking out loud. You may find yourself in any book list, or maybe you're just, creating your own curriculum, and you're like, I need books that my kid can actually read and actually comprehend and get something out of. So I was going to show you a few things I have picked up along the way. Some of these we have used, some of them you've seen before. Some of them I actually have not used yet. I've picked them up, but I haven't, whatever child I've bought them for, maybe it hasn't been ready for them yet. So I may not necessarily have a recommendation, yay or nay, but I can tell you why I purchased them with my own money. I'm small fry channel. I get no freebies here. So one thing I wanted to show you was these Dash into Reading books. Okay, so the algorithm, like Instagram, just knew that I look up readers, and I research phonics a lot and spelling a lot, and it knows where I've been on the internet. And it was hardcore advertising this to me, I swear, for like months and months. And one day at a weak point, because I was interested, Although I do kind of hate buying, it's just hard, it's sketchy buying things on the internet. You can't open it up and really look through it and get a good feel of the quality of the item and stuff like that. So that's if you've noticed, I know that this time of year, people are already starting to think and plan about what they need to get for next year. So I'm going to try to show you as much stuff that I physically own as I can in case it helps you eliminate or like say, yeah, that does look good. Like hopefully it'll be helpful. One thing I do like about the Dash into Learn, and it was kind of spendy. I want to say I spent about $60, and this is what I got for 60 doll hairs. I'm not gonna lie, when I opened it up, I felt a little deflated. I was expecting, this is just the physical review. I was expecting more like hardcovers. I do like the artwork on them. It's really sweet. But it's just like heavy, like laminated cardstock. It did come with a few little stickers of characters. This is the teaching guide. This is the Dash into Learning set 2. I don't think when I bought this, I don't think I even knew that there was more than one set. I will link to this, and I think this is like a whole kind of curriculum. Like they have a whole bunch of stuff in the Dash into Learning set, or like I don't know, brand. That's the word I was looking for. So it gives a teaching guide by Amelia Murdoch. So it reminds you to be positive, be consistent, like 5 to 10 minutes a day is all you need. Be clear, explain very clearly the sound, word, or concept, right? Then demonstrate it. You may have to demonstrate and have them repeat a word multiple times. Take small bites. Don't expect to finish an entire lesson or story in the first sitting. Don't give clues. Students should master each step and feel confident before moving on to the next step. I agree with that. I guess I do sometimes give clues, though, like phonics clues. Like I might say, try another sound O makes. Give the answer if needed. Use the Dash chart. It says some chart. Each time the student completes a practice page or masters one step in the lesson, put a sticker on the Dash chart. I think about age. Younger students require more time and practice to learn something new. Practice blending sounds throughout the day. So extra ear training helps students to better hear and decipher the sounds introduced. For example, say, look at the k, at. That's k, at. Or that's C-A-T. Or let's play a game. Let's guess what sound this word starts with. At. Good job. The sound is right? I would say, and we call it H. And on a positive note. All right, so I just thought that was good little reminders up there. Also, something I did like is it came with this cute little bag. Isn't that cute? But you could put these little books in there, and it's big enough, right, that you could put other books, larger books in there with it. And I actually have used this before to just grab books, like to take in the car with us. But that was when I bought this. Remember, that's what I was actually kind of looking for, was something to read outside of the McGuffey readers, because I primarily teach to read from the revised McGuffey readers, as I've made a plethora of videos on. So I was wanting something else for specifically my kindergartner to have to look at that was really short and that he could read. And so, like, here is book 1 of set 2. This is called Lots of Pups. So it had this phonics practice at the beginning. So I was like, I guess what I wasn't looking for was a new tool to teach to read. I really just wanted something to read that was going to be like enjoyable for him, that just helped him practice things he had already learned in his McGuffies. This one has step 1. It gives the sounds. It's going to have the CH and the double E. I'm assuming they're meaning the ch sound, not the other sounds that CH makes, right? Double E says E, and then the sight words, he, she, and all. Which is interesting that they didn't say sounds, the broad A, the ah. Did you guys know that when an A is followed by an L, or if it comes after a W, it will often say ah, like walk, wall, tall, watt, like your watts on your bulbs. Anyways, blending path. So there's a CH, che. You can't hold the B though. You can't hold. It's not one you can hold. E maybe. Lee. I think that's what they mean by blending. That would be che, full, nch, ns, msk, uch, ps, wulp, ter. Right, and then they have blending words. And they have whole words. So if you needed extra practice, I guess this does give you extra like blending practice and stuff. And then there's a short little story with pictures, and it's colorful. I like that. I think the kids will like that. It sounds something like this, okay? Kip spots a bug. He runs to the bug. Tam puts the bug in the tree. Skip grabs a stick. She wags it at Tim. Skip is the dog. Tim tugs on the stick with Skip. Rip digs a pit. Tam will fill the pit and brush the mess off of Rip. Tam feeds the pups. Flip has a bunch of food. Tim says, "No, Flip, that is too much food." This is just book one. Tip and Mip get a doll. Tip runs with the doll. The doll rips. Tim will fix the mess. Chip gets a cut on his chin. He is sad. Tam will put a pad on his chin. So they did introduce more than just, there were, maybe they covered two, like TOO, or which other ones did I see? The TH sound. So I actually think that Bo could start reading these on his own. So I should probably put them out on his, this is our little reading nook. I pulled down the blinds because it's nighttime. I couldn't make my video until after like school was done and like the kids ate and cleaned up and like they're all upstairs now. But like I don't want to be in here with like my lights on at the front of my house. I don't want like the neighbors and everyone else who drives by to see me in here making a video. So I pulled down the blind. But yeah, so sometimes like I like to put something I want them to encourage them to read, or they pull down like reference books a lot. Like we have like some science reference books over here and things, and they'll like pull those down and I'll stick them over there. There are 10 books in total. Here's the last one, Big and Little. Let's see, what are they bringing up in this one? The only sound they have is the TR, ter. The sight words are hour, go, and could. They have a bunch of silent E words that they've listed. Longer words, right? So they've added on to base words. I am big, he is little. I have a cup, he has a bottle. Our beds are not the same size. We like to see the sun rise. I like to make and bake. He likes to frost the cake. I like to ride my bike. He likes to ride his trike. It's like a big brother and a little brother. Okay, so this is pretty cute. Okay, so that's kind of where it ends up. I don't know if there's more sets. There's definitely one set that comes before this, though. So yeah, so I think I would put these, I might like to start putting these out here on his little reading nook for him to just start looking at. So I'll put them in their little bag. He does always like when there's like little books that are for him. So maybe something I'm gonna leave out for him. I have a bunch of these books. I've got even more over there, but they are a Just Ask book. And I have talked about them before as something that you can include as science readers for young kids. So once they can read okay, I'll give you an idea of the reading level. Here's the very vibrant colors. Hi, Woodchuck, you are so busy. Why are you rushing? He's always busy at this time. I have to get ready for winter. You know I hibernate. There's a 3-syllable word in there. In winter. And then look at you, hibernate, which is cool actually because first kids we teach them sound by sound, but when you read, you actually read syllable by syllable. You don't read letter by letter. So I like that they broke it out into the syllables so that we could talk about that. I would say that this is honestly more of a second grade level, at least as far as like how my kids were reading. I don't know, you may have more advanced children. I would say second grade. Yeah, maybe late first. I don't know. But it actually, introduces like a concept to them. So they're learning about hibernation in this one, why birds fly south. So they're very short, so they could read, and of course they don't have to read the whole thing in one day. You could have them read like, just one spread. But yeah, I like to use these for science. And they have tons of different titles. So I'm pretty sure those are out of print, but like those were printed in, I think it said 1986. So I have several collections of books from, is it Cottage Press or is it Cottage Door Press? Cottage Door Press. I'm going to show you, I'll do what would be the easiest like for the youngest kids first. So I have two sets like this. This one is like the little Bible story version. So they have Jesus Walks on Water, parables, poems and prayers, the birth of Jesus, my little songbook, the creation story, Noah and the ark, Joseph's coat of many colors, Daniel and the lion's den, Jonah and the big fish, and the Easter story. And then it comes with this little like reader, a storyteller. So I have two. I have one, so this is the Bible stories, and I have also one that's just fairy tales. It's upstairs in the kids' room. I didn't go up there and get it, but the fairy tales one was actually the first one I got, and William loved it. So let me show you what the inside look like. Just again, sweet little books, just for their right hand size. Not too long to overwhelm them. Not too many words on one page, but it is not like baby reading. So it's like Jesus was a good man. He was kind and thoughtful. Like thoughtful is it's the O-U-G-H-T, ought, right? He's thoughtful to everyone. Most of all, he loved all people, and they loved him. People were so happy when he came to visit their cities. They shouted his name and waved palms in the air to welcome him. And these books is a good way to introduce to kids how we capitalize he and him, right, for Jesus, even though we wouldn't do that with anybody else. Okay, so if you want to listen to the Easter story, let's say you want to have them listen while they read along, you turn it to the Easter story is, right, this one with the crosses. Okay, so you can have them listen along, and follow with their eyes, and listen with their ears, and they can do this independently, which is nice to have an option, especially when you need them to be able to do something a little independently, and you need a little help. But yeah, and also it has the songs on there so they can tune it to whatever song they want that goes along with their little songbook. So I love this set and the fairy tale set. And again, I'll link to all these resources in the description box if you're interested in looking at them. They also have some more box sets. So I liked this one, the vintage storybook set. And some of them are harder to read than others. So Little Rabbit's Bath. I'll show you how big the print is and stuff. But really sweet illustrations. Mrs. Rabbit had a little boy named Jackie. Jackie liked to play, and he did not like to take a bath. So there's that one. It's kind of more of a beginner one. William's favorite was Captain Kitty. This is his favorite one. He read this one over and over. I want to say these were like printed back in the 40s and 50s originally. You can see it's smaller print. Oh, Captain Kitty, where have you been? I remember him really wanting to learn to read this. I've been sailing the ocean blue, and Tabby went as my good first mate, and Pearly and Mew were the crew. This has a nice little rhyme to it. Okay. They've got words like sailed, followed, week. Like it's not just CVC words, right? Palm, natives. Sweet smile, breezes, the word tropical. So, I mean, you can definitely teach them to sound out tropical. Pearls is in there, white. So, yeah, so they do have a few more mid-level phonograms in there. And, William, he's 8, and he actually still gets these books out. This one was actually my favorite, The Mailman of Bayberry Lane. Oh, look, I love the illustrations. But look, see, there's getting to be, it's more advanced. A lot more words on the page. Smaller print, words like autumn, bayberries. Anyways, the reason I like this one is because of this sweet little pig. She didn't get any mail. The mailman noticed, right? So he talked to all the other residents of Bayberry Lane, and they sent her an invitation. So she got some mail to, I think they had like a little party or something. So it also was just like this really sweet message, right? Like, so everybody, that's what it was. Everybody invited her, sent her a letter to invite her to a different, like, something to do because she didn't have any friends. So anyways, I thought that was nice. So they were doing something good for a neighbor that might be a little lonely, right? And she was just a sweet little pig that liked to bake. I relate. Anyways, so that one was my favorite. But you can see there's a variety of reading levels in there. Okay, the other sets I have, the next one I bought from them was the Christmas, vintage Christmas stories, and then vintage storybook, but these are more like fables and fairy tales. Okay, so my boys, their favorite story is always the Three Little Pigs, like always and forever. They just love those characters. This one was published in 1956. So again, like I'd probably put this at a second grade reading level, maybe early second grade, So it's got decent, like a paragraph per page. So anyways, they've got the Three Little Pigs, the Three Bears, Little Red Riding Hood, Cinderella. The boys never cared about this story. Rumpelstiltskin. They do like Rumpelstiltskin. Jack and the Beanstalk. The Little Red Hen is another good moral to the story, right? And Sleeping Beauty. Again, they never cared about that Sleeping Beauty either. Of course, the ones that I always wanted, the princess stories. But again, I like this one. Again, there's quite a... these ones all, I would say, were a little bit more advanced overall than the first set, the first vintage storybook set. Okay, so those were some the kids have actually read and like. Here is something new to us that we have not used. This just came in the mail today, so I haven't even like fully checked it out yet. But it is the Usborne's My First Reading Library. I'm assuming that they're in order of how you should read them, like reading level, like the greens. That says book 1, because the green sets are numbered, but the orange and the violet are not. But it says, Usborne's very first reading, book 1, Pirate Pat. So again, I was just looking for something that we could get in the reading habit. So even if he can't sit down and read like the first RC books yet, I needed something that he can sit down and practice the reading habit, right? He's still gonna, I continue on with the McGuffies, until we're done with them, but with me, but I want them to have something to read independently. And to me, it's okay if what they read independently is a little below their instructional level. So it's a little below what I am teaching them, right, on in the McGuffey readers. Because what I want them to be able to do is to read it and enjoy it, to understand it, and not be frustrated by words that they haven't mastered those skills yet for. So Pirate Pat, it says how this book works. I haven't even read this part yet, so let's find out together. The story of Pirate Pat has been written for you to read with your child. You take turns to read. You read these words. Okay, so there are words here. Like the night was cold, the sky was black, the window rattled. And then your child reads these words. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, I did not know that this is what this book series, I did not even know that it had that feature to it. That's how they were meant to be read. You don't have to finish the story in one session. If your child is getting tired, put a marker in the page, come back to it later. You can find out more about helping your child with this book and with reading in general on pages 30 to 31. So back at the back of the book, there is a guidance. This is guidance notes. So these books are specifically developed for children who are learning to read. In the early books in the series, you and your child take turns to read, and your child steadily builds the knowledge and confidence to read alone. The words for your child to read in Pirate Pat use only these 8 letters, S, A, T, P, I, N, M, and D. Only 2 vowels in there, only A and I. These are often the first letters that children learn to read at school. With just 8 letters, your child can already start reading simple words and sentences. Later books in the series gradually introduce more letters, sounds, and spelling patterns while reinforcing the ones your child already knows. You'll find lots more information about the structure of the series, advice on helping your child with reading, extra practice activities, and games on the Very First Reading website, usborne.com/veryfirstreading. Definitely going to go check that out. All right, and then there's some question and answers. Why do I need to read with my child? When is a good time to read? What if my child gets stuck? We finished, now what do we do? So they'll be able to read tap, tap, tap. This is kind of fun though, right? Sit, Sam. Sit, Sam, sit. That's what they read the next part. It is a man. I am Pat. Okay, that's cute. I like it. I mean, I could sit down. This does not take very much time. I could even have one of the older boys do this with the youngest. Okay, so that was the first one. Let's see what the last one that's modeled that way. Also, I will say about this, I like the little box that it came in. I mean, it survived shipping, and it's like a harder material box to hold it. I'm always disappointed when I order a box set and it's just like folded cardstock basically, and it just immediately falls apart. Like, I like this to go on my shelf and stay together, and I can like stack other things on top of it, like more books. Okay, so the last one like that is book 15 called Mr. Mystery. Let's see what the beginning looks like. And this one, how does this book work? The story of Mr. Mystery has been written for your child to read with your help. Encourage your child to read as much as they can, helping to sound out the words and explaining any meanings if they get stuck. There are puzzles after the story, and for these you may need to read the instructions to your child. You can find out more. Okay, what does it look like though? So this one, by this time they're supposed to be reading this on their own. Mr. Mystery came from a far away land. Mystery, they have a Y that says the I sound. Well, so since, I have to talk about clues. Since when I start out, I teach my kids their ABCs and all the sounds of the individual letters. So, Y has 4 sounds, Y, I, E. So if they were stuck on this, I'd say it's using the second sound of Y. And they sound it out and they will know. Anyway, so it looks like these are transitioning you up. Here's the word conjure. At least, so there are some words in here that I feel like might be kind of difficult, but they're so short, right? The book is so short. For special occasions, they should know the S-I-O-N, saying jeune. Here's kind of what the puzzles looked like at the end they were talking about. Okay, this is still my first reading library. These are 50 books to guide your child through the first stages. Oh, it's 50 books to guide your child through the first stages of reading. Okay, so here's the orange spines. And there's no how to use this book. It's just straight into a story. Dog was always hungry. One day he trotted to the market. And then this too has little puzzles at the end, like an activity to do if they want to. That was the first one in that series, in that color. Let's see the other one. The Wish Fish. This story is about Bob, Bet, the sea, big fish, small fish, and a magic fish. This is a real story, isn't it? Yeah. Bob and Bet live by the sea. They like fish. Bob fishes all day. He catches big fish and small fish. One day he catches... I feel like kids are going to like this picture. So they're like, wow, what's happening? Look, who's back there? A magic fish. The fish gives Bob and Bet 3 wishes. I wish to be rich, says Bob. I wish to be richer, says Bet. I wish to be richer still, she says. Too greedy, says the fish. That was the end. Too greedy. Too greedy, and they all just go back to being poor. Okay, now there's a purple set in here. Dr. Foster went to Gloucestershire. How do they say this? Dr. Foster went to Gloucester. I'm American. I can't say it. I want to say Gloucester, but I feel like they say it Gloucester. I can't say it. Gloucester. It's like they're adding in extra. So Dr. Foster went to Gloucester in a shower of rain. He stepped in a puddle right up to his middle and never went there again. Dr. Foster went to Oxford in a cloud of fog. He just couldn't see, bumped into a tree, and splat, he fell into a bog. This is cute. That's cute. Okay, again, these ones have puzzles. Let's see, what the last one look like in that series? Clever Rabbit and the Lion. So yeah, it looks like they're getting some stories from like Aesop's fables in here. Once upon a time, in a great big jungle, lived a great big lion. Roar. He had great big paws and very sharp claws. I'm king of the jungle, roared Lion. I'm going to eat you all up. Again, like there might be some words in here that were hard for that, but there's not many. Do you know what I mean? So they could work on this and get. I feel like I wouldn't be opposed to like if they're like, what's this word, Mom? I'd probably just tell them what it is because they're independent reading. So they had a bunch of about 50 of those books. And I do like that he would have a variety to choose from. Okay, on to another set from Usborne. This is called the Usborne Reading Collection, 40 books to help your child grow their reading. I really wanted the kids to have selection. And these ones are a little bit longer. Okay, so the first one is Icarus, the Boy Who Flew Too High. So I think we've got some Greek mythology. So this one actually has little chapters in it. And you're starting to see like dialogue. I'm so bored, moaned Icarus. Bored, boring old bored. His dad, Daedalus, said nothing. He was busy at his desk scribbling. Okay, so it looks like it has about this much, to read. So they have The Sorcerer's Apprentice in there too. They've got a lot of good titles, like classic stories, obviously abridged, written, simplified for little kids. But I am loving, full color illustrations. Okay, so there's this set. It's like there's red, and then it looks like there's blue spines, and they look longer. So let's look at those. They've got Shakespeare here at the end. They've got Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet, and Macbeth. So they have Around the World in 80 Days. That's where it starts. So, yeah, from Jules Verne, adapted. So they're getting, more words per page. It does have a little map in the back of his route. Okay, The Secret Garden, The Wizard of Oz. I want to see that one. Aw, cute. It does show her with the silver slippers, not ruby slippers. So it's more accurate to the story. The yellow brick road stretched off into the distance, but on the horizon something sparkled. Soon a vast green city loomed ahead. I have Beauty and the Beast. They do have Wind in the Willows, which a abridged version, which I think I have like the standard version that I was actually planning on reading as a read aloud to Bo soon. They have The Wind in the Willows. They can read it on their own. So they may have heard it once, maybe in kindergarten or first grade, read to them by mom. This is a little abridged version. They also have, Alice in Wonderland, Black Beauty, The Clumsy Crocodile, The Tempest, The Snow Queen, Alice Through the Looking Glass. I'm just going to show you Macbeth as the last one in there. Ah, that's cute. I like that I have the characters of the story drawn out. So, I guess I'm typically not a big fan of abridged versions, but these are probably ones that I'll have them read, the standard version later on down the road, but So it's 90 books all together. And I want to say I bought this, I want to say it was about $90. So I got these books for like $1, basically $1 a piece for all of these. And I know that William, even though he's in there, I know William will want to like start, I know he'll read these. I don't know, I thought I might just show you guys these because I have them. These are the Alpha Phonics readers that you can get if you're going through the Alpha Phonics like workbook with your kid. It'll tell you like, for the first one is for readers who have completed lesson 14. So if they've mastered through lesson 14, they can read this one. I actually had tried to have Bo read this one day. That's why I told him if he could read a page, I told him he could draw a picture in it because there's no pictures. That might be on purpose. They may not want the kids to be able to guess the words based off the pictures, but it does make for kind of a boring book to look at. And they're just kind of like, Dad has a van, Dad's van has a fan, Dad's van has a tan cab, Dad's van has gas, a van can pass a cat. Can a cat pass a van? It's just that kind of really simple one sentence. See how like every line is just one sentence? So they go line by line. They go to, when they're finished, here's book 11. Is there only 11 books? Oh yeah, for readers who have completed Alpha Phonics, this one. So there's little readings like tree. So that's a poem. But they're by like real poets. Let's see, Joyce Kilmer, Eden Philpotts, Emily Dickinson, Oliver Herford, Vachel Lindsay, A Dirge for a Righteous Kitten, Robert Louis Stevenson, The Cow, America, My Country 'Tis of Thee, America the Beautiful, The Star Spangled Banner. So I like them, so I'm keeping them. I don't know if I'll ever actually use them really. I may just every once in a while to do something different. But it's nice to know that if you are going through Alpha Phonics, they can stop and read one of these. They kind of change things up so it's not so monotonous. I also, you guys, I bought so many things. I also bought the Treadwell readers a while back just because I wanted more reading material. And I was like, okay, with my kids, in the primer, we're in the McGuffey primer. Let's see, what is the primer for this one? What contents does it have? So the Little Red Hen story. I do wish the pictures were in color, but the little red hen found a seed. It was a little seed. The little red hen found a seed. It was a wheat seed. So they need to know WH. What? So this is something that they can look at. Just so you want to see what the first reader has in it. 3 Little Pigs, The Cat and the Mouse. There's a group of Mother Goose rhymes. I don't know if it's Bremen Band or Bremen Band. Wee Robin's Christmas Song, The Straw Ox, The Boy and the Fox. Things like that. It is nice, a nice clean printing. Second reader and third reader. Oh, this one's kind of fun. It has like a play. I think it's Hansel and Gretel as a play. It has different scenes. That's cute. Hansel and Gretel scene 1. So it shows them Hansel, however you say it, and then Gretel. So you could do do this with multiple kids and have them put on a little play. That's cute. Or you could just do it with them, Third reader, what do I have in here? The Enchanted Horse, Aladdin and His Lamp, Sinbad the Sailor. There's a group of Robert Louis Stevenson poems, The Ugly Duckling. So there's a bunch of stuff in here. But there are things like Little Gustava, like that's in the McGuffey readers. There are pictures, but there's less pictures. Anyway, so the reason why I don't recommend not that I don't recommend them, but I prefer the McGuffies is I just think that they have better writing in them. They have better illustrations. They have better, I think they have better vocabulary, and I think they have better moral content to them. So that's valuable to me. That it's not just twaddle that they read, Even though fables, there's a lot of fables in here, can have a moral to the story. The McGuffies are deeper. They're better. So if you were do I want the Treadwells or do I want the McGuffies, like I would no hesitation, McGuffey. But if I wanted to, I just like, again, I do buy things just because for like more like research purposes, or I'm like, I don't mind having extra literature around, especially when like sometimes kids have gotten through a level of something and sometimes I feel like their brain needs time to like, I almost feel like they kind of like, even their brain, I feel like goes in spurts, like they suddenly seem to, things start clicking for them. Kind of like how they have like growth spurts all of a sudden, it seems like. And so sometimes like they may have finished a level and they might not be quite ready for the next jump up. I do feel that's one of the reasons I prefer the revised McGuffies over the original McGuffies, is because I do feel like it's a much steadier incline. And I do feel like the originals have more like jumps between some of the books, especially like the second and third readers. I was going to show you guys more books. Honestly, this video is taking so long. I think I've just gotten I get two into it. I'm going to cut this into 2 videos. So I will be back with more book sets to show you, never fear. Okay, check out the links in the description box if you want to take a look at anything you saw today, and I'll talk to you soon.